Okay, hello all you crazy people out there. My name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games, and let's make some games. So we've started a new project. This is the bullet hell game, and we have a couple important bullet hell systems working. At least in terms of having a player following the mouse around and shooting, and having foes shoot at you, and the ability to destroy each other and that sort of thing. And today we're going to continue working on this a little bit. A few notes of minor importance. One, I am still recording this far ahead of when I'm actually going to post it because I like making these videos, and I wanted to sit down and work on this today while I have some time, and I'm going to be doing that. Something else is that I had a one might call it either an epiphany or like a massive brain fart moment where I realized that in terms of visuals for the game, instead of doing like 2D pixel art or whatever, many things in my life would be made much easier if I just went with what I have a lot of experience doing and making simple, like basically picking up the 3D low poly vertex color Kenny visual style that I was using with Bombardier and running with it, both in terms of backgrounds, simple shading, and like the player character and the foe characters and that sort of thing. It's not every day that you get to say in Game Maker using 3D would make your life easier, but because I'm me and because I have much more experience with that kind of thing than I do with like making pixel art or whatever, that's what the story is going to be. However, that's not going to be something that I'm going to be concerning myself with until quite a bit farther into the game's development. For the time being, I'm still going to be using ye old programmer art, colored squares, that sort of thing. Even when I do get the 3D in the game, I will still be going with a 2D orthographic camera. So it's not going to be like we're going to have a perspective projection. The game is still going to play in 2 dimensions. It's just going to be rendered in 3. Rendered more in 3 dimensions than, you know, all games already are. Let's see. Today, what am I going to do today? Foes damage the player on contact. I think I wanted to do that last time, but I ran out of time and I didn't have time to continue the recording. So I will just knock that off today, and then we're going to start doing things with pickup objects. Okay, that's fine. Foes damage the player on contact. How would I do that? So now, if I were to... would it help if I just had a... Why are all the sprites like... Okay, there we go. I don't know why the asset browser had a moment there. Let me make this a little bit bigger. I'm just going to make myself an SPR foe does nothing, just so that I can like test this. And we're going to start out by, let's just make this, how about a black sprite, and give you a white border, something of that nature. And the base entity foe radial is going to be does nothing. You're going to have this sprite. You are going to have essentially nothing in your shoot method, like at all, because you don't need to do any of that. And in the room 1, let's can I get rid of all of those and just drag in one of these foe does nothing objects, and we can just do a little bit of experiment bashing our face against this guy's hitbox. Okay. Apparently I have updated Game Maker since the last time I recorded this. I'll just make that its own commit. So when it comes to the player colliding with things, let's see, if I go into entity player, okay, so inherited from the base entity class. When you collide with a bullet, you check to see if the bullet you collided with is friendly to you or not, if it has the same friendly status, and if it does, you're not gonna friendly fire. If it does not, you're going to damage. I am going to do something rather similar to this in collision with base entity. Let's see, do base entities have a friendly status? They do. Okay, good. And I should be able to, from here, look at players on damage method. And okay, this will treat entities as bullets, and this will cause a little bit of breakages to happen. One, the game is most likely going to crash because, yeah, there we go, because the faux entities do not have, all of the same, properties that the, oh god, what is it? That the bullets do. So I'm going to, let's say, override, or, create another method, rather, on contact, on entity contact. Is going to be another method. It's going to take an entity as a parameter, and we're going to call that in the collision method with entity instead of the bullet one. And when it comes to the player, I can simply on entity contact. When it comes to the player, I can say let's set our iframes. Let's do our invincibility check. Let's we're going to only do 1 damage, I think, when we contact an entity, because we're going to hard code that in, and we're going to check to see if we should die or not. And that should be all we need to cause the player to take damage on contact with the entity. And indeed we are. We have the iframes kicking in. We are going slightly like faded. When we do that, that's fine. Okay. That's great. Now, I think I can check this off. Let's see. Sure, let's complete that. Did I wait? Hang on. Oh, do I complete them by I haven't done this for like 2 weeks, and I've forgotten how Hack and Plan works already. Let's drag that to complete, and we can cross that off. Next, pickup objects. This is what I really wanted to do in this video. Let's see. I'm going to create myself, let's call it, let's like duplicate the bullet sprite, and this can be SPR pickup. We can, in terms of size, I'm going to make this somewhat bigger than the bullet object, so I'm going to resize all frames to, I think, 16 pixels. And instead of having like a blocky circle, let's have a filled circle. A smoother circle, rather. Like that. And maybe different pickups can be denoted with... Actually, that's going to blend into the background, isn't it? Let's make it I don't know, a pink circle. Different... I'll put just a little like colored dot in the middle to denote different pickup classes. Or maybe a star or something if I'm feeling like artistically adventurous. Collision mask is automatic. This should probably be an automatic... I don't think circular collision masks are actually that slow. Oh, whatever. Let's just go with rectangle. It doesn't matter if everything is like pixel perfect here. Anyway, let us create a pickup object. This can actually be... Let me clone the bullet and like borrow a lot of the behavior of the bullet from this. Pickup. And we're going to be created with a random X and Y speed. We are not going to have a damage or friendly value. Let's say you're going to move at a velocity of 6 in some direction, and var angle is going to be random through 60 degrees. I can make this text bigger, can't I? X speed is going to be velocity times d sine angle. Y speed is going to be negative velocity times d cos angle. And in this step event, we are just going to... Yeah, okay. Again, this looks a lot like bullets. I can actually give you the appropriate sprite. And then we're going to check to see if we are outside the bounds of the field. Next, one of these should actually spawn when something dies. So in, let's say, entity foe, you have a die method, don't we? Yeah, we do have a die method. Instance destroy. We are going to create at depth x self.x self.y self.depth plus 1, I think, to make it appear behind the other entities. The object is going to be pickup, and this should just simply float around upon being deft. All right, there we go. A velocity of 6 is actually quite a lot, and I think I would like it to be so that we actually slow down a little bit over time. What would it be? Drag. Let's call it drag is going to be 0.99, and this is just going to be done like every step. Could delta time this. Do I care enough for that? Not really. This is mostly a visual thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that does indeed slow down. Okay. That's fun. Pickup object. Let us drag that one to the completed board. When enemies die, they may drop pickup. Enemy classes have an array of pickups and drop odds. The thinking behind that is that maybe a boss, when you defeat it, will always, like, drop, I don't know, health or something. I guess that doesn't really make sense because when you defeat a boss, that's typically the end of a level, and by that point you don't really care. But maybe some stronger enemies might have a higher odds of dropping a health pickup or something like that. First, I need to make it so that the player actually can collide with these things. And to do that, we're going to go into Entity Player, add a collision event with pickup. Let's see, with other.id instance destroy. This is just going to make it so that the pickup entity is destroyed when the player collides with it. And now that I think about it, like as soon as I type that, and we can indeed do that, it probably makes more sense to give pickups a collision event with the player instead. Typically in games, and I haven't always been like really good about doing this myself, but typically in games, you want to have like entities contain their own behavior, so each subclass of pickup can so instead of the player detecting collisions with the pickup and then deciding what to do based on that, it's generally easier to have the pickup detect collisions with the player, and then each subclass of pickup can figure out what they want to do on that collision, and they contain their own behavior code, and you don't have to have like the player containing the behavior code for every possible type of pickup. It generally lends itself to having to like better code and cleaner code and less code and that sort of thing. So that's just going to be like the base interaction with the pickup items. Does GitHub source control says I still have apparently no. All right, the player should not any longer have collision events with pickups. So why is it still like, okay, that file is empty. That's just, can we get rid of that? Goodbye. Instead, you need to have a collision event with, instead of other pickups, because that doesn't make sense, with the player. Let me just run this again to make sure that it does what I think it does. Excellent. Okay, what's next? So, on today's to-do list, I did, and I'll do these two later. I'll implement the the drop odds later. But on today's to-do list, I did want to implement some simple pickups, some simple pickup effects such as restoring HP and damage shield or more damage or a faster fire rate. Those are some basic effects. I believe, yeah, in the planned column, I do have a couple other effects that I definitely want to implement. Some fun things such as like recursive bullets, because everyone loves it when something explodes and then like the shrapnel that flies out also explodes, because I mean, come on, that sounds like a fun time. Let's go back over here. The base pickup, should I make this a method? Like, should I make an apply effect method? And instance destroy, it doesn't matter where you call that because this won't happen until the end of the step anyway. but putting it on the bottom just feels better. Let me define a apply effect method. And any things that we subclass off of this can just fill in this method instead of inheriting from the collision event, because I don't want to go fully OOP the way that I did with Bombardier and like completely like taking over control of the game loop. But I do like using methods when I can, and possibly separating behavior like this.
Hey.
So SPR pickup health HEALTH. Let us give this a little insignia. Let's give this a green dot in the middle. And I know green and red is not the ideal color combination, but this is just programmer art. It will not hopefully be here in a few weeks anyway. This is going to be a pickup health, and we can give that its own sprite. And oh, you know what? This needs to be a parent. It can't be a control D duplicate, can it? Okay, let us delete those events, and we'll just use the inherited versions. So apply effect entity dot, and this is going to be the player. Let me just check. I want to say it's I want to say the variable name is HP. Okay, no, it's just health. Oh, that's right, because apparently this is no longer a reserved global variable name. Fun. Entity.health plus equals 1. Or plus plus, if you will. Like that. Now, if the player, I mean, if the foe dies, we can spawn one of these instead of just the generic version. And if I were to go into the room, I can drag just like a couple more of these onto the screen. I can pretend to take damage, or I guess I can take damage for real too. That'll also do it, like that. And when I grab you, I now have 10 health. This will allow me to go above 10. I don't believe I have a maximum HP value, do I? Oh wait, that's foe. This is player. We will just not heal these things beyond like the max HP. And I guess I don't think I'm planning any foes in this game to be able to heal themselves, but let's just give foes a max HP value, a max health value as well. And then in apply effect, entity.health equals max. Actually, this should be min. Entity.health max and plus plus entity.health.
Hey.
So we will increase our health by 1 when we pick these up, but we will not go above our max health. So if I'm just going to take damage, take you down, that's going to give me 10 health. If I were to take damage there and grab that, that's going to give me 10 health. But if I were to... Oh no. Okay, so I grabbed the other one and it did not give me another health. Okay, that's great. I kind of feel like I should probably have these things time out. These pickups, they shouldn't last on the screen forever. They should have maybe a lifespan of, say, a couple seconds, maybe about 10-15 seconds before they fade into the abyss. First, we'll commit that. Next, we will go and let's see, give these things a lifespan. And is everything in this game delta timed? I want to say it is. Like when you shoot the countdown timer. Okay, no, so it's not it's not on the basis of delta time, but oh god, it probably should be, because I'm just now realizing that this is going to like, if you were to pause the game, if I were to only use the current time index, all the timers would continue ticking down, which is not really what one wants. Okay. Alright, later on I will convert this to at least a fake delta time system, as in like the room speed 1 over the reciprocal of the room speed or whatever. But alright, I guess it's time to start working with scripts. Let's call this macros, because every good game maker project has a macro script. I'm gonna make a macro DT for delta time. This is going to be game get speed, game speed, FPS, which would be, if this is 60, we want 1 over this. We want the reciprocal of this, 1 over this. So delta time is the inverse of the game speed. Trying to use the built-in delta time value, aside from like non-gameplay situations such as like controlling animations, that's probably a losing battle, because if your delta time can fluctuate, if you're on a computer that's struggling with the game, things can go very sideways very fast if you try to do that. And I've sort of given up trying to use the built-in delta time system in favor of just 1 over the game speed. Anyway, I do want this to in the step event, self.lifespan minus equals the DT macro, so that is going to reduce by 1/60th of a second every 60th of a second. And if self.lifespan is less than or equal to 0, instance destroy. And I think I'll have them fade out as well. And to do that, we can, I would say we can say, is there an image alpha? There is an image alpha. We can just do this, and in the last second of the thing's lifespan, the image alpha will fade out. But that might, like, let's count off about 10 seconds. Alright, that actually gives it pretty good amount of time to stop moving. It did fade out, but if/when I start doing things such as like 3D visuals, this probably will not work super well. So instead, let us take over the draw event. Draw sprite. This needs to be draw sprite extended. X. Let's enforce the use of self. X, Y. Image X scale. Image Y scale. Image angle. Image blend, and max of min rather of 1, and self.lifespan. So this is just manually drawing ourselves. Let's see. Is that going to stay on the screen for long enough for me to see it fade? Not really. Come on, shoot it in another direction. No, I said shoot it in another direction. There we go. Okay, there it goes. And when I replace that with a vertex submit of a 3D model, we can just control the alpha through a uniform or something. Some other effects: damage shield, more damage. More damage sounds like an easy one. If I were to control deduplicate, pick up more damage. Let's see how quickly we can knock some of these out. Pick up more damage. I'll make the dot on this one like red or something, because red is a very angry looking color. Actually, that might blend in a bit much. Let's make it. Honestly, most colors are probably going to blend in at least a little bit. That's going to be more damage. And let's see, we can assign our sprite to you in the... And I think I'm going to have... There we go. I think I'm going to have to implement a, can I start to close some of these? A system for, like, stat modifiers for the player about now. For example, if I go to, let me close the room to make more space on the workspace. Shoot, where is shoot? Shoot is over here. We are going to be creating a bullet. Bullets have a built-in damage value, don't they? They do. So let's see. All of these, this being an action game and all of the stat buffs that I'm going to give the player, I think are going to be on a timer, as are a lot of other things in this game. So self.damage, let's call it buff damage. This can be a struct which can contain the duration of the buff. And a damage value. And I do want to implement, like, permanent upgrades later on of some sort that aren't just, like, a timed bonus that you get from a pickup item or something like that. And that might look similar, although it won't be this exact code. So instead, I'm going to say shots.damage plus equals self.buff damage.value. By default, this is going to be 0. However, if you were to pick up one of these damage buff things, entity dot buff to the damage dot value is going to equal, let's make that 1, and I'll get to the duration in a minute. Let's make it 10 seconds. Yeah, 10 seconds. That does not tick down yet. I will make that tick down soon. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, hang on. I need to actually make a foe drop one of these when it dies. Pick up more damage. So let's see. 1, 2... Actually, that was only 1 hit. 2, 3, 4. So that takes 4 hits to take down. 1, 2 hits to take down. Okay, so the damage buff works. It is not shown to the player anywhere, and it probably should be, so that the player is aware that something is happening. And I think I have 2 commits in here. One where the like the pickups fade over time. Yeah, okay, so pickups time out and fade out. Should probably commit that separately. Boy, I've been recording for about a half hour today. This is taking longer than I thought, but also I do want to knock out these other 2 things. More damage over here. Sure. Faster fire rate is going to be very similar. Let me Control D duplicate that. Speed. Let's call it faster fire. Maybe increased movement speed can be another one too. Anyway, we'll give this one a, how about a yellow tick in the middle, and pick up more damage, faster fire. We can have you drop one of those. And this is going to take the faster fire sprite and buff fire rate. The value, I'm not sure what the value is going to look like for that yet. I can close out of there. I'm not sure if this is going to be like a 0.5 to indicate like the cooldown between shots is reduced by half or something like that. I'll think about that more in about 2 seconds. Buff fire rate, and we are going to have its. Oh, you know what? I don't have the rates ticking down yet in the step event. I should do that soon. Anyway, what is the when you shoot? Self.shoot. Last shot time. Okay. I really should switch this to like a cooldown delta time-ish method soon. Okay, so I think I will make the multiplier on this, let's say 0.25, so you shoot 4 times as fast for a brief period of time. Faster fire rate pickup. I do need to actually have these buffs tick down. So we can say buff damage dot duration minus equals dt. We can say buff fire rates dot duration minus equals dt if self dot buff damage dot duration is greater than, less than or equal to 0. This is going to be, the value is going to be set to 0. Likewise, if the buff to the fire rate duration is expired, its value is going to be 1. Because this is going to be a multiplier rather than an addition. And your value rather should be initialized to 1. Okay. Have not tested this before committing. I realize that I am treading on thin ice here, but let's see. Let's now change this like last shot time thing to a shot cooldown. Because, as I said, that is going to make, like, for example, when you pause the game, you do not want the cooldown timers to keep ticking because you're just keeping track of things in real time. Okay. Can shoot. This is just going to be a matter of return self.shot cooldown is less than or equal to 0. In the shoot method, the self.shot cooldown is going to be set to 1 over shots per second, isn't it? It should be 1 over shots per second. And we could multiply this by self.buff fire rate dot value, or we could make a little use of identity math, and we could just divide the buff to the fire rate by the number of shots per second. So by default, 1 over shots per second. If you are shooting 2 shots per second, 1 divided by 2, shot cooldown is going to be 0.5 seconds. If the buff to the fire rate is, for example, 0.5, we are going to have 0.5 divided by 2 shots per second, for example, and we're going to be, our cooldown is going to be 1/4. And we'll do the same thing here. What is iframe time? Hang on, wait. Let me actually deal with the other versions of shot delta time first. This is also like noticeably simpler code than what I had before. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to have the shot cooldown tick down in the step event everywhere. Oh, okay. I was wondering why that red mark was not going away. And that is because I had a regular colon instead of a semicolon. Any other references to last shot time here? There was one more. Entity radial. Let's see. I also mentioned the iframes would be on a countdown timer like this. Iframe duration. I guess I could just make this a global macro as well. Actually, you know what? That might be something to be upgradable as well. So I will not. For consistent terminology, let's go with iframe cooldown. So that looks like shot cooldown. Invincible is going to be the value of self dot that is greater than or greater than 0, and iframe cooldown can minus equal delta time in the step event. So we should have any more references to current time? Oh yeah, okay, so iframe cooldown can be set equal to self.iframe duration, and I believe that is also the same on entity contact. Okay, so we are properly implementing our countdown timers. It's one of those things that I feel like I should have thought. Okay, look at that. And this should stop after about 10 seconds. This is weirdly fun. Alright, and after 10 seconds it returns to normal. This is one of those things that, like, I've done cooldown timers for things in games so many times. I feel like I'm not sure why I did that the first time. And it kind of wasted myself 10 minutes, but oh well. I'm going to add a number of question marks there to indicate that I do not know why that was something that I had to go back and change in the first place. Anyway, faster fire rate, we can check that off. Let's see. Damage shield, I might leave that till next time. Enemy classes have an array of pickup items and drop odds. That should be easy enough. When enemies die, they may drop pickups. That's already 50% done because I've been using this entity foe here, die method, as a test this entire time. Instead, let us self.drops is going to equal an array. The contents of this array are going to be just a couple like structs. I could make these like classes actually. You know, I could also, and this is a little getting into the territory of am I over-engineering things, but I could make these like a mini class that has a like timer tick method or something to go with it, but I don't think I will do that. Let's create ourselves a script, and this is going to be pickup code, and I'll use an underscore in between those two words to indicate that this is not like a single script or anything. We can make a function pickup drop odds. This will take two parameters, the type and the odds. Needs to be a constructor. And it is going to just contain two values, the type and the odds. So when I go into here, instead of just manually defining a bunch of anonymous structs, because that would be a huge pain, new pickup drop odds. The type can be pickup health, can have an odds of, let's say there's a 10% chance of dropping that. Another one can be pickup faster fire, which also has a 10% chance of dropping, for example, and a pickup more damage. And I'm going to do this as simply as possible. This will allow foes to drop more than one item. But when we die, for var I equals 0, n equals array length, self.drops, I is less than n, I plus plus. We're going to generate a random number, var odds equals random between 0 and 100. And if odds is less than self.drops index I dot odds, then we are going to instantiate one of whatever that was. Instead of hard coding that, we are going to instantiate a self.drops index I dot type. Okay? So we should have, and nothing is guaranteed to drop because statistics, but we should have a fairly decent chance of at least something dropping by by the time I'm done here, and that one other foe did actually drop a couple things, but they flew off screen, so I couldn't really tell what they were. That's fine. Let me do that again just to make sure that it's working. And hopefully the random numbers will be a little bit nicer to me. GameMaker, when you run the game through the IDE, does use the same random seed every time, but that shouldn't be a problem here. Because we are constantly generating new random numbers for like the variation in like shot angle, and we shouldn't see the same random numbers being generated every time in that case. Anyway, I am convinced that that works, so I can go move this to closed. I can move this to closed as well. I can make this a commit. I can mark this as the 0.3 release. And I'm going to end things off here. So, today we have implemented pickups plus a few other miscellaneous things that I didn't get to last time. Next time, I want to start doing some of the fancier pickup effects. Let's see. This is going to require different bullet types. I'm going to create a derived class for bullet types, so like fire bullets, explodey bullets, whatever. And I'm also going to implement hopefully all of these things, as well as the damage shield, which I didn't get to this time. If I were to look at the progress for Sprint 1, for gameplay things, we are 43% of the way there, 50% of the way through the items on the list. That's nice. If I were to look at the project dashboard as a whole, making good time. The series definitely should be finished in somewhat better time than the tower defense game was. All right, so my name is Michael. I like Wizards and Dragons and making games. I try to post about 2 game dev videos a week, one of these and one tutorial. I like doing things with the more arcane parts of GameMaker, including but not limited to 3D games. So if you're interested in anything like that, feel free to subscribe. I have a Patreon, so if you want to contribute towards these videos being made, look for links to that in all the usual places. You could see some fun things like your name in the credits, or hear a verbal shout out of your stuff at the end of every video. So if you want to pledge, I would definitely appreciate it. Otherwise, look for the code for this down in the video description. If you want to play around with it yourself, feel free. The current state of this code is the 0.3 release, week 3. Otherwise, I hope you all found this interesting, and I will see you all later. Special thanks to Zenjamin, Then Nothing Happened, Squarecrow, Sindra Larson, Posho, Gunnar Clovis, GameMaker, Emily Koyo, Edward Holt, DJ Gibbles, and Army Umbrester for supporting these videos. If you want to see your name in the credits or hear yourself shouted out at the end like this, head on over to the Patreon page down in the video description to join the fun.